Are we live yet? Okay. We are live, I think. Let me just turn on the music now.
Well, I can't see from my end, but that might just be because of the delay.
Yeah, probably. Hello, everyone. Today we will be discussing the Chapter 11 units. There are only 4 of them, so this will be a quick discussion, unless we decide to, milk this to its last drop. Yeah, let's not do that.
That won't happen.
Okay. Joining me today are... Irby, you always go first, so introduce yourself. Come on.
Hello, I am Irby. I have a YouTube channel. Please check on the video's description.
Yes, that is very charming. And we also have joining us yet again.
Hello, it's me, Zalgus. I have a playlist in the description. Go look at that instead.
Well, don't compete over each other. You can watch both of their channels. Alright, so we are gonna start off talking with the 5 stars. Ellie with me, then Shiva with Irby, and then we'll end off with Zalgus talking about Bertro and... Sorry,
I'm talking about
Marduk. It's like, whatever, their names don't even make sense. And Ali ending off with Bertro, Roberto, Alejandro. Anyway, yeah, let's just go to the next. Let's just begin. I'm rambling.
Sure.
Okay, so the first unit we'll be talking about is Ellie. Ellie is the Queen of the Night, or Queen of Kabukicho, I'm not, something like that. And she is kind of like a vampire, but not really in terms of lore. I don't know why I'm talking about lore. Let me just jump into her kit. Her main role is being able to actually advance the zone. From what I can tell, she is supposedly, every time you move her, she will be freezing the road that is behind the road that is in front of her. So 2 squares ahead. And in doing so, she's able to prevent any advances as she facilitates the removal of the road directly in front of her. She does this by being able to not only fear the enemies in place that are 2 rows ahead of her, but also charm them to neutralize them. It's kind of a weakish rate at 40%. And also dazzles them if anyone she strikes in the front row. As you can see by the smaller graphic below, if she hits someone, then the unit she hits won't actually get dazzled. Rather, the units that are behind her within reverse slash range will actually receive that dazzle debuff. She's also able to bestow vigor, and she can deal quite a punch with her brawn and her darkness, but she also inflicts whenever she moves. And she has advantage against dazzle darkness too, so that until goes up to 11.5 thousand damage per square. So yeah, other than her zone advancing ability, when she does charge, she functions a bit differently. She actually would not advance the zone in that case, and she would more so actually take advantage of possession in being able to possess units without killing them, because she zombifies them. She applies guts to them and deals massive damage, but because they have guts, they'll just survive no matter what. And then they'll turn around and beat the enemy to a pulp. The enemy that is frozen, by the way, because of here, as long as you move her. And she also bestows a couple of special statuses that are invisible to those units that she inflicts fear on. She would have, inflicts possession, which would be a possession strengthening or something like that, and non-possession weakening. And possession strengthening or possession weakening, I forget which it is, it actually makes the units she possesses 10 times stronger. And if they happen to not get possessed because they had nullified debuff or some kind of a possession immunity, then they will instead receive a damage penalty. So yeah, 10 times the damage output is pretty nice. And on top of that, she is just a general damage rescaler as well, being able to just inflict charm to eliminate damage overall, or darkness, which of course just reduces damage, and dazzle to the row behind, and vigor, of course, to make her team stronger. For Ellie, I would recommend bringing a couple of ARs. more so for a 3-star, I would recommend the Alice AR, the new one that gives dazzle advantage, because of its spread here, where she inflicts dazzle on the units behind those she hits, but not the actual units she hits. It's actually ironically less effective on her 5, but it could still be good. And I would also recommend bringing the slash pulling AR with Hogan and Toji, so that she can actually get in range and get some CP and actually it's called eliminate the front row and push the front line more decisively, I suppose. And yeah, she definitely could get some more help as a slash unit, because slash units still have the problem of getting people in range. So she would pair well with someone like Dagon, who can just naturally pull units. Having 2 Dagons, one on each side, would be a pretty cool combination, I think. Have them pull in and then just eliminate that row, and then have the back row frozen and keep on advancing the zone just like that. I would also think that Alice would be a decent pick just because of her dazzle advantage and her ability to, I guess, contribute to heals through regeneration as well. Same thing for Valentine Bargest, which has the ability to pull as well as have some defensive supportive abilities as well. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ellie. Do you guys have anything on top of that to add?
Not particularly, but I have one thing to say about her, and that's that she dislikes her relationship chart, so I don't like her. There you go.
Come on. All right. Other than that petty remark, is there any gameplay related remarks on Ellie or Smelly?
I think it'd be really cool to equip her with the City of Drifters AR, just so he has an additional chance when attacking.
For evasion, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, she has a natural chance of evasion.
30% get evasion, and with the AR, it would give her an additional role at getting that evasion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're already playing her for evasion as well, then even though it's diminishing her turns, she's already built for evasion in the first place. So that just means that what she already does, if you're playing around that, she'll be more reliable. Sorry, what's up, Irby?
Nothing. That was it.
Oh, okay. Zalgus, any gameplay related marks? And also, I can hear myself for a second. Okay, good.
Fine. So for anyone who's interested in super efficiency, she'd be good for coin quests, because she has horizontal movement and she gives a wide buff in 1 square all around. So it's at a very reliable rate too. So she doesn't really care about the turn start positioning for things like coin quests or what have you. There aren't that many units who have horizontal plus AoE buffs. It's only like Hephaestus, or what was it called? Virtual Summary Hephaestus, and was there anyone else?
You could consider Suzuka with her adjacent Ardor on face starter or something.
Oh yeah.
She also has glint and concentration, so.
Yeah, but she can also be useful for that as well. The horizontal movement is pretty nice. I mean, you're going to be moving her anyway, so the vigor is just really quite nice. But
yeah,
that's really all I can say about her.
Summer Hephaestus is probably better in that case, but if you don't have them on support or you don't have your own, then yeah, Ellie would be good too. It's not
everyone can have limited units, Ara.
It's called knowing a guy and like asking him to put sports on.
The only other aspect that was the fact that she doesn't deal damage to nourishment affected enemies, and that's a big issue.
That's just like lore shit that I don't even mention. Why is that? It's like
I don't even know what lore could be associated with it. I mean, does she not like blood from people who are nourished?
It's too full of cholesterol. It's a low density cholesterol.
I do not understand this. Even if this is related to lore, I don't understand it.
Even if she's a vampire, she still has to maintain a diet, you know? She can't just eat any kind of blood. Can't be anything from those fat cells.
Oh, does that mean that she pairs really badly with Ryota?
Oh, it was Ryota?
Yes,
yeah, because she was never ever pair them together, because Ryota's nourishment will just be a downside to Ellie's nourishment disadvantage. Yeah, that is pretty much all our thoughts on her. I wouldn't say she's a simple unit to play around because she does like have a specific playstyle, but you know, once you do understand her things, there's only a few points to mention. So Advancer, Zombifier, and she does have general utility as a damager scaler. Yeah, that's pretty much it. No lingering thoughts, I take?
It's neat that she pairs. It's neat that she pairs well with the other vampire. Alice, that is.
Yeah, it's a decent synergy, I would say. She would also, what's called, not be very effective against Alice, at least for a charge, because, you know, Alice is immune to possession, I think. Is she immune to possession? Or is that the other units?
She is on her.
Yeah, on her 5-star, and the rest of the Halloween 1 units.
Watch out, as possession becomes more relevant, Halloween 1 units are going to become relevant too. Let's go.
Oh, imagine.
I mean, I found that you for Bolos.
Yes. Anyway, yeah.
The use for Volos you find is because he's probably one of the only units that give combo.
I keep on forgetting about Volos'
yes.
other utility. Like, he gives combo, but apparently he heals too. I completely forgot that. Anyways, I'll just...
Yeah, pretty big heals too.
Yeah. He's like Ryota, except worse. Don't quote me on that. I'll read the comments and then I'll go to the next unit. Hello La, and hello Helen, hello Queen. Yes, Smelly the Queen. She's interesting. Her bonus attack is weird. Darkness advantage because she just inflicts darkness whenever she moves. I forgot if it's like guaranteed, but it's very close to guaranteed if it's not. No Halloween skill Evo buff though. We didn't receive any for Jiangxi or I mean, they were decent units, but you know, they could have used them. We've had stronger units receive skill evolutions like Housamo before. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all our thoughts for Ellie, so let us move on to Shiva. Ellie, I mean, Irby, if you will.
Alright, Shiva. Shiva has a very interesting CS, a very interesting charge skill. Cyrus, it's our biggest. He has our biggest CS multiplier in the whole roster of playable units, which is like times 10. But this is only for compensation for the effects of the charge skill it has. It basically does a flat amount of damage to all enemies, but it also removes all buffs from the entire board, enemies and allies, and all debuffs also from the entire board as well. So he will never use this. You will never get the chance to get Shiva's CS with a bunch of buffs because he'll just purge them and will do regular damage. So it's kind of deceptive. You kind of look at that CS multiplier and think, wow, it's going to deal a lot of damage, but in reality, it's only going to deal like about 11k.
Yeah, it's pretty much the flat damage there plus the attack listed.
Yeah. So basically, this unit has a bunch of tools to work around this CS. It's very powerful because he has easy access to this CS by granting himself 50 CP on phase start, and also having CP generation when he gets hit. But he also has means to control when he throws out this CS, because this CS can actually be detrimental to him, because if he's going to clear all the buffs in the game, and if any units on the enemy board survive, then chances are you're going to, all your units are going to take the full brunt of the damage from the enemies on the next turn. So that could be a problem, and that is why timing is important with him. He has on-moving darkness to self, which prevents him from using his CS, which is going to be the main tool to control when you want to fire off his purge everything. He also has darkness strengthening, which pretty much nullifies the attack reduction from darkness, and even increases it a little bit, but it's barely noticeable, and also gives him a slight defense buff. And every turn he removes one debuff to himself.
Yeah.
That's actually that's how you're going to be able to control the CS. You're going to apply darkness to self. The the debuff will then supposedly on the next turn going to remove itself, unless he's afflicted with other debuffs, which in that case, well, you might be a little bit screwed.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like
Also has a bunch of
yeah, it's not like the worst thing if you can't time Shiva's charge exactly. It's more of a problem if it happens to go off when you don't want it, than if it doesn't go off when you won't need it to. Basically, I'm just saying that it's better to have that extra safety than to have less safety.
Sure. He also can pierce evasion and has a bunch of attack buffs. Basically, has 60% on hit, which is like.
Irby, I gotta stop you there. Could you speak closer to your mic? You're kind of cutting off a bit.
Right.
Okay,
pretty
fine.
much, he has a 60%. He has a 60% chance to crit when he's attacking units, and he also has combo every turn starts. So it's going to be easier to get that crit. 60% is above the average chance to get crit. Usually it's about 50%, so 60% is actually really good, especially with combo. He also can bestow himself and all allies in a 2 squares radius around him limit, which is
just like Horus.
Which is pretty nice. Yeah. Is Horus actually 2 squares? I think Horus was just a cross.
It was 2 squares left and right also, wasn't it? Was it just left and right? Now I'm forgetting. The thing is, I never play Horse at that range, but I'm pretty sure it's like that too, isn't it?
Oh, right, it is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is. It's just like Horus. It's two squares left and right, and that's all right. You're going to want to keep moving him, unless you want him to CS.
Yeah, and because
he also
sorry, I keep on interrupting you, Ed.
He also has guts on phase start, which is pretty good for a unit that has limit. And can also get Berserk Plus whenever he gets hit. So, it's a really low chance, but it's another source of damage up. And that's pretty much it. He's a unit that's going to deal some moderately high damage by its own.
Yeah, outside of his charge anyways, but...
Yeah, his charge isn't going to be very...
It's not going to be, Kotaro Kusaga
outside specific scenarios when you actually want that full cleanse of the board, which, honestly, it can happen in some challenge quests. It would have probably been useful in some past challenge quests if it was available. And honestly, the ARs I'd recommend pairing him with are just the Sanat Kumara AR, which has to get guts as well.
Yeah, and no other reason, I'm sure.
No other reason, of course. Other than that, I mean, all the other ARs he can equip aren't actually really good, at least from my knowledge. For him, the Hogan Tajikara one, the Shinjuku Police Academy one, can be useful to prevent skill lock, but that's only in situations for skill lock. But skill lock can shut down pretty much anyone.
Yeah, I refrain from saying that'd be useful for units because it's like that'd be useful for any unit when skill lock is relevant.
Yeah. There's not a lot of ARs I think you can take advantage of.
I guess you could take the Seth
That's pretty much it.
one or the Ben 10 one, just because he has such reliable combo. So whatever he's hitting, he'll have double chance, or like more chances to do it.
Yeah, that would pair well. He's gonna get his charge fast no matter what if you decide to play with him and actually use his offensive abilities. Because if he does get combo, he's not just gonna have double chance for crit. He's gonna get double chance for his CP up as well. So his ability to build CP is ridiculously fast. It's either you're gonna use him in a very specific situation, or you're gonna have to build a team around him to give him more general use. From what I can tell, there are a few ways you can structure your team around him so he's more general purpose. For example, you can slot him first, and have units that either bestow or inflict whatever statuses they have on their attacking turn. So not in turn start and nothing like that. So they can just refresh them after he actually blows his charge, and they can bring them up again. So there's some safety there. But he's also kind of, I'm not sure if it's the best idea either, because there's many ways you can structure a team random, like I said. You'd probably want his charge to finish off the team, not leave them alive in any way. So he could also build a defensive team around him. One that doesn't rely on moving at all, since you'll want to constantly keep on, protecting yourself on, since you have to move Shiva to prevent his charge from going after early and leaving anyone alive. So yeah, a defensive team is something I'd recommend too, just to increase your durability while the rest of your team chips away at the enemy. And I would also recommend a team that uses units that inflict or activate whatever effects whenever they're struck as well, because obviously those kind of effects won't be erased. They'll still apply whenever they are hit. Yeah, those are my thoughts for team formations regarding Shiva.
Okay. Since no one mentioned the damage numbers on his regular, without his CS, I'll just say, if you assume he has all of his buffs besides Berserk, plus he'll deal 35.7k, combining both hits of his combo, which is pretty good. If you get Berserk plus you get even more damage. But Obi skipped over the best part of the Sanat Licho AR.
I did, because you were so eager to talk about it that I just leave it to you.
Okay, so the Sanat Licho AR has it gives guts, but that's not the most important part of the AR. The AR also gives a cool effect called Charm Weakening, where it makes you take 3 times more damage with when you are charmed. This synergizes very well with Shiva's kit. He has innate Charm Weakening.
So remember, if you ever see a challenge quest with Charm, think Shiva. And he'll survive, remember, because I'll have guts, so it's fine.
Shiva's Charm Weakening is also different than the AR's Charm Weakening.
Yeah, he loses 80%.
Proc rate, yeah, he's not going
Ridiculous.
to proc anything pretty much.
So, if the quest ever calls for playing with a unit that has no abilities whatsoever, Shiva is your guy if the board has Charm as well.
Pretty much going to be useless against Charm, and since there is no way to prevent that, yeah, there's.
What do you mean? There's like a 20% chance he can remove it after.
No.
Anyway, Shiva, interesting unit, but not like wow, this is a really interesting unit. More like interesting. Be careful when you play around him. You're gonna play smartly around him. Otherwise, he's actively gonna be a detriment to your team if you don't know how to play with him and don't know how to play around him.
Yeah, you really got to just deploy him on quests where you can actually make use of his CS, because that's his most unique trait. So.
If you can build up his CS every turn with Christmas Ryota, you can potentially clear coin quests with just 1 CS.
Yeah, it's a strong combo. Shiva and Ryota, if you know all the enemies just have under a certain HP, you can just bring them in to win without thinking.
Yes, he deals fixed damage, has face start 50 CP. What more do you want? It's perfect.
Perfect for your very challenging level 40 quests.
and then would it probably take longer because you have to keep going through the damn animation?
Yes, it would take longer.
I mean,
that also depends. If you're only using those 2, and the others don't attack, maybe not.
I don't know. It is a strategy to consider. It might even be feasible to what's it called? If you have 2 Shivas up and 1 Ryota, if you can somehow get another unit that can cover the difference of the other 50, maybe through some other ARs as well, you could have 2 Shivas feasibly blowing their load in every base start. So it could work, but then you'd need 2 Shivas. Anyway, I think we've covered all our thoughts on this unit. Is that right? Any lingering thoughts?
That guy who got SA 100.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not the best unit to get duplicates on, but I don't know, it's like what's the damage with it next?
It will be about 22k.
2k.
That's pretty good, I guess. I mean, it's a free charge every turn if you have Ryota. Just something to consider.
That's excluding the fixed damage, right? So it's actually 32k.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Anyway, let's just move on. Irby, please read out the comments.
Okay, where did you stop? Her bonus attack is weird, but no Halloween killer bro. Shiva is the kind of guy who can't make up his mind, then blames society when things not working his way. Damn society, damn it.
Yeah, down with the system.
Down with the system. He has combo increasing more the CP. He gains attacking. Yeah, pretty much. I already went through that. Luther says he can't hear you, Ara, and he's going to miss part of the stream at work.
No. Well, playback will be here available.
Yeah, he's going to keep it up, but with the volume silent, I think.
Okay, as long as like my own volume is needed. That would be terrible if no one told me that until now.
His charge does a lot of damage. I mean, it does deal a lot of damage, I guess.
A lot of consistent damage that you don't have to think about buffs or anything like that.
Yes, you don't need to buff around, I guess.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, now that you bring that up, LifeWonders finally heard our prayers. We finally have a unit that can counter Lianin.
Oh right, we can counter Lianin now by pairing Shiva with Lianin.
Wow, they did it.
Wow.
They finally nerfed all range charges. Goodbye, Lianin, no more relevance for you. Okay, you can go on.
Okay. How debuff to buff Charm Awakening. Shiva looks scary. By the way, Shiva is another debuff on demand unit, so you can use him with Jamborees and yeah. Yeah, that could be, I guess.
Yes.
If you don't want to use channel or something.
There's something really weird about what's it called? There's like a confirmation system where, you know, you can't charge unless you have 100 CP at the very beginning of the turn, but you also can't charge if during your attack turn you have a debuff. So Heracles, you know, he could have 100 CP, but if he moves and gets a skill lock because he decides to move, then that will actually prevent him from charging as well. But that actually worked differently before, and I also did some testing. If you decide to like block it halfway, and then they regain it through reflect debuff, but it still goes through even though they have darkness, and it's very confusing. So it might be why would I
want to remove the darkness anyways? That would just mean that Shiva's CS would go off and would just remove all of Aizen's buffs. No!
Aizen, does it turn start?
The thing, that's what I'm saying though, it's like, I'm not sure if it will actually go through even if darkness isn't there, because the charge check system is really weird and like kind of been periodically updated. Like, for example, you know, there might be a check where, you know, oh yes, at some point he had darkness, and then therefore the rest of the turn, whenever his attack comes, he won't get his charge, even if Aizen removes darkness before that happens. It's like, it's a weird, like, gray territory of game mechanics. So, I mean, it'll be fun for you to confirm if that. I'm not sure about Aizen's RNG, but my 2 cents says it's a weird, glitchy territory. I wouldn't rely on that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would work, but it's one source of debuffs, I guess.
Yeah,
it's rare.
Yeah, Aizen removes on turn start, so I guess you could use it to try and keep supplementing his after debuff effects, and then move Shiva to.
That would. Yeah, you're right. He can't consistently keep darkness because Aizen's cleanse is turn start.
Anyways, please read the rest for me.
Lianin, why do I hear boss music? He doesn't actually counter Lianin, but That was just a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke of how it kind of counters Lianin on your team. It's like makes your own Lianin useless. Just put Shiva on your team. There you go. By the way, Shiva, did you read that already from Milk? Oh yeah, okay, that was the gem raising. All right, let's just move on. Why are we talking so long about Shiva? There you go, Irby. Remember when we were like before streaming, like there's nothing to talk about, and it ended up being like what 50 minutes long. There you go. All right, Zalgas, you're up next.
It was because there was nothing to talk about that we were struggling to find something to talk about.
That doesn't even
take long.
There's like a lot of French cases to talk about with Shiva, but I'm not sure about relevant cases. There wasn't too much relevant cases. Anyways, thank you for covering that, Irby. Zalgas, please take the torch and continue with Marduk.
Okay, Marduk. He's really short. So I think Marduk has one of the more interesting kits of this banner. So he is actually he's our first snipe range at 3-star, so that's neat in itself. But anyway, so when he snipes down, when he hits units, he's another unit who will push them to the right, and he also applies break to them. But the more interesting part is that when he misses, in the two columns adjacent to Marduk, he will drain CP, a lot of CP, and also skill lock them, it's really good for disabling them, and it's at a really nice high rate of 90% for the skill lock. That's actually the highest rate skill lock we have in the game on demand. The other ones we have are Seth and Christmas Takamaru at 100%, but they have to get hit to do it. Christmas Takamaru also has one that is on move, but that's only in front of him, and he has to move. And other units who do it on attack are around 70%, but Marduk gets a nice big fat 90%, and just really consistent CP drain as well. So he also gets turn start combo, or phase start combo rather, at 100%. At skill level 100, which means he can do this cool combo of he hits his column, curses, breaks, and pushes them to the right, and now his column will be clear. So on his second attack, he'll miss, and he'll then do the skill lock and CP drain. So he disables them quite well. He reduces their damage, stops them from moving, drains their CS, CP, and skill locks them. So they can't move, they can't use any skills, and if they do attack, they will be hitting much less hard. And they can't CS, so that's cool. He also gives nourishment to self and allies to the left and right, which is fine, I guess. There's nothing much to talk about there. It's nourishment. So that in itself is pretty useful. It's just really good at disabling one column, or I guess you could... Nah, there's no point in doing that, never mind. Okay. But I was about to say something about pushing someone to the very right side, but that would be completely pointless because Marduk's personal attack is trash. No, but I didn't even bother calculating his attack is so bad because all he has is nourishment. I guess he has 2 times damage against Dragonborn.
Break on his.
Yeah, he has break on hit. Only 4-star, unfortunately.
Well, he's a 3-star Valiant sniper unit, so even with break, it's not exactly the most impressive damage.
Could you go back to the skill page, please?
Okay, switched over. Even if you don't see it, you can go. It's fine. Like, it's synced to our voices, not what you see.
Yeah, but I can't see it. So anyway, so that's most of his kit. So he's just really good at disrupting one column, and the column he's in, he will disrupt very hard, but also and then the right column, he'll further weaken, but he also does minor weakening to the column left of him. It's nice and big at snipe range on both sides, so he can pretty much do it from wherever he likes. This is countered by any units that are immune to knockback either via anchor, which no one really applies anyway. They'll usually just be units that are immune to knockback. So he won't be useful there really, unless you can position Marduk somehow so that he can actually CP drain them. You could just use him for long range break and curse though. That's still nice. Anyway, so his last skill that is unrelated to the rest of his attacks is one that when he dies, so when he leaves, you can switch over to the diagram. So when he dies, he targets a giant 5x5 area 3 squares away from him, so starting in front of him pretty much. That entire area, he will push all enemies back 3 spaces. He will deal flat damage. He'll deal 8,000 if his skill level is maxed, and whoops, I fucking let go of my button. And he'll remove all buffs. So that's a ridiculous area. If he can target pretty much anywhere he likes on the map when he dies. So I could actually see that being useful for suicide strats, where you purposely get Marduk killed just to remove all debuffs or remove all buffs from the enemies. Because no matter where you do it, he'll always catch them unless they're like on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and that's a sizable HP reduction too.
And since it pushes so far away, it's actually quite good for disengaging. So, if it's short-range enemies like thrust or slash, then you can buy yourself a lot of time just by pushing them away.
Yeah, I'm glad they're investing more in, departure abilities, because, they were kind of memes before, but, I'm seeing valid strategies with it, with Bargast's ability to heal on guts, and now, units that are in the inverse case, like Huma, who are actually better in sub-slots. More kits catered towards this is what I'd be interested in saying, to have an emphasis on planned departure as well as planned arrivals from the subslots. But
I imagine that I imagine that there'll be some use for Marduk if you actually plan around getting him killed, because just removing all buffs is pretty powerful, especially at such a massive range. It's obviously something unique to plan around, because rarely do you plan around units dying, but he can take advantage of it, so that's neat. His CS is pretty simple. When it's snipe range, and he will grant himself combo, so he'll refresh that, which is nice, and he will heal himself for quite a large amount. 1,200 HP at base, 2,400 at SA 100.
Keep in mind the combo is only for his 4, not his 3.
Yeah. Don't remind me. So he'll refresh his combo, and he'll also still push them to the right. Oh yeah, he also removes all debuffs to himself, which is cool, I guess, but it's whatever. That's always nice to have. So he gives himself combo, and he moves them to the right. So he'll also do his skill lock CP drain combo there, since his column will be pushed to the right, and there'll be no one for him to hit, and he'll always have combo if he's 4-star. So he has kind of 2 neat uses, which is one of which is just disrupting the 3 columns that the column he's in and the 2 columns adjacent to him, and then he also has a unique use in actually having a useful when leaving skill, because we never get those. We have Christine and Tetsuox and Valentine's Sertra. Wow. They're not very impressive. So I quite like Marduk just for how gigantic his AoEs are.
And the reliability of his rates are
his rates are really high. They're all 80% to 100%, which is nice to have for once. Even his 3-star is 70 to 100%, so it's that's good for me. Anyway, unfortunately, none of the ARs are particularly synergized with him. So I guess you could just take the Seth AR the Seth Gangly AR for Charm on here. That's pretty much it. He doesn't have any amazing synergy with any AR, so that's too bad. But overall, I think his disruption's quite nice and unique because he can do it from such a long range away, and having a useful when leaving skill is nice for once. So that is all I have to say.
I see. Well, thank you for your input. I actually don't have much to say about Marduk, other than, well, the difference between his 3 and 4 aren't that big, so if you, like, the only real difference is just the combo, as well as a small range with his, what's it called, on leave skill, but, like, he still removes all buffs, he still does 8,000 damage, and it's still at a guaranteed rate, so that's pretty impressive it retained that much. A lot of it is retained between his 4 and 3. If you like 3-star runs, Marduk might be your guy, Salgus.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I can see him having strong utility with, like, maybe not challenge quests, not all of them anyways. He could be pretty decent for challenge quests that have vulnerable mobs to the skill C and all that. Like, he would have been definitely useful for the Jamboree challenge quest 3, for example, being able to push the chairman tip away since they were actually sparsely spread, and then follow up with a combo to actually skill lock them. And yeah.
Milk just said something useful that I forgot to mention. So to do his combo of push to the right and then skill lock them in the next column, the enemies can't have someone horizontally adjacent to the right of them, because then he can't push them away. So that's another case where it won't be that useful. If there are 2 enemies standing side by side and, like, he has nowhere to push them, or if, like, all the enemies are on the far right of the map, he can't do that either. So it's easier to do in big maps where, you know, there's lots of space, which is kind of annoying, because a lot, like, especially on, like, smaller maps where everyone will be clumped together, it's more likely that someone's going to be blocking Marduk's target, so he can't push them to the side, which is a shame, but that's just something you have to plan around.
Yeah, you can do something like a conveyor belt, have, like, 2 Marduks, the first one that's slotted in the middle, the second one that's slotted in the left, and then you just kind of push everyone to the right, and, you know, if they get clogged up, have the third unit on the right be some sort of lethal snipe unit like Otohime to constantly clear out the conveyor belt of death.
Yeah, you can have someone who can push the enemy to the right. Someone that pushes backwards, push the enemy to the right, and then Marduk can push his target to the right. And then, yeah, that I should plan around that. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, and for this particular unit, I don't really think he would be particularly interesting with any kind of ARs that he can equip. Maybe I didn't give it a fair examination, but he's not going to do that much damage, and really his functionality can't really be complemented by an AR. Skill lock and CP reduction, that's what he does, and he does that fine on its own, not really enhanced by any ARs.
We don't really have any on-miss AR.
Just the combo one from
yes.
Takutsushi, but, like, that's it.
Yeah, and that's only blur. That would actually be useful for him to refresh his combo.
That'd be insanely useful. That's why it's not a difficult one. You might want to consider bringing a unit that can, you know, what's it called, actually bestow combo on the mat, because obviously getting charge as a condition isn't the most convenient to refresh his combo.
He gains an alright amount of CP. Since he gains 16 CP per enemy hit, and he's a snipe range, so yeah. But considering he'll be missing half the time, it's not actually as, and, you know, the enemy's not necessarily be in a nice neat column for you to hit, but he gains the CP quickly enough.
You may also consider wanting to use this unit to intentionally hit the same unit twice, or, you know, if there's someone like on the right side or something, or to intentionally miss twice to completely drain their CP. So they both have uses. If you hit someone twice, you can quickly drain their. You can quickly gain CP for yourself and to get your combo back up if you.
Yeah, gain, not drain.
Well, yeah. Although, you know, it's kind of stupid that you would intentionally, like, waste your combo turns to get your combo up again. So maybe not do that. It could be decent as a choice to miss, though, if you really need to reduce 100 CP instead of just 60.
Do you have anything to say, Obi?
You already said everything. Honestly, I don't think.
Irby, closer to the mic, please. You're kind of quiet.
You already said everything, but honestly, but I don't really think he's going to be that useful, in particular in challenge quests, because of that exact problem of having units horizontally adjacent to the units he's going to hit. Is going to prevent that. It's going to completely prevent that. No matter where they are, if they are on the first row, the second row, the third row, it only needs to be one of those rows where they have horizontally adjacent enemies, that it will immediately make the strategy impossible unless you find a way to completely one-shot the whole column, just so Marduk can miss on the next turn.
Yes, bringing Odihime.
Conveyor belt, let's go. Yeah, that is an interesting thing to point out. It's
going to be another unit where...
Yeah, he would be better off in a particular kind of map where, obviously, large maps is more beneficial to actually make use of the same range. But more than that, just large maps where the units are sparsely spread out, so they have less chance of actually colliding with each other.
That Yog Sothoth dungeon at the final floor.
Yeah, think like that.
They're all in a nice formation.
So, like, some units work better with density packed units, so their adjacent effects can apply. And other units like this, quite the opposite. They prefer them to be sparsely spread out for the same reason. They don't want them to be adjacent. Okay, if that is everything from both of us, no lingering thoughts? Irby?
I have no more thoughts.
No. Okay, well.
Suddenly, Irby stopped thinking. Oh no.
Well, what? It's impossible. How could I not stop thinking about the war that is happening on this side?
So that's
I was wondering if anyone was going to say that.
No, you mentioned the taboo. Now I'm gonna get cancelled. But none of this kit doesn't even relate to war. They just added in war. At least like other gimmicks.
Yeah,
it kind of
kit
makes
is
sense.
kind of completely unrelated.
It doesn't seem to be related to anything about his lore either, so I don't understand either.
It doesn't.
Quick, we have 13 minutes left for an hour-long thread of stream.
Okay. Read the comments and then
I'll read.
Yeah. Go ahead and read the comments
Okay.
for it.
Where were we? What do I hit? Okay, I'm here before you. Hello, Luther. Housamo war moment. First thing said for this guy. I made it on time. Hey, Gale. Crybaby ball. He's crying because he's being fought. Ellie, I'm here. Who sucks? It's weird. Marduk does not deal self-crit when he has a dragon. I guess he doesn't have Dragonborn, and instead he deals more damage to dragons. Surprising.
The dragon does crit to him, and his yells are what causes that board-wide debuff to everyone.
Maybe. Marduk is worse Licho. No, I don't think so. Licho he inflicts skill lock on hit and curse, I guess, but not only is Licho's rate worse, Licho's more about preventing them from just retaliating by turning them to blow, but Marduk is like more about neutering a much larger area, like basically 3 snipe columns worth, and he can also hold them in place with break. So he's kind of got a weirder kit than Licho, honestly, but I wouldn't say he's a worse Licho. Marduk is good when he dies. Well, he deserves to be bullied, I guess.
Well, same thing for Shino. No one cared about him until he died, so.
How dare you? Is when leaving is what I call sacrificial taunting. I would say hit-miss combo won't always happen in practice, since enemies might occupy the right column and block enemies from being pushed to that column. Yes, that's correct. Thank you for mentioning that, Milk, because I actually completely forgot to mention that. We need a unit who kills allies in front of them or swaps them out to take advantage of leaving effects. For that first one, we have Lianan. And for the second one, I'm sure that'll be a programming nightmare that LifeWonders will never do. But we can dream.
Maybe.
That would actually be ridiculous if you could do it repeatedly, because then you could just abuse some of the on-appearing effects, because some of them are pretty good.
Well, yeah, they're 10 because they're one time.
Yeah, and of course I get busy as soon as I have time. Sorry, I want this crybaby. I don't have any high rarity units for this man. Sorry, menu. We already have bullying. We were already bullying him for his bad design. Now we can bully him for having a horrible gimmick kit. I don't think his kit is horrible. I think it's pretty good actually.
It's not a horrible gimmick, but it's certainly a gimmick that forces you to play around the playstyle. Otherwise, you're just not playing real optimally.
Yeah, there'll be some maps where it just will not work due to enemies being clumped up or immune to knockback. I mean,
but yeah, it's not a horrible gimmick because when it actually works, it's pretty damn good when it works.
You can still take advantage of parts of it, even if you can't do the full combo. Like, if you have to forego hitting them, you can still skill lock and drain them of CP, or unless they're immune to skill lock as well. But if you can hit them but not push them, you still break and cast them, which is still pretty good. Haha, 4. How could you?
Well, Shino deserved it. Anyways. Don't deny. No one would have cared unless he died, and now we all keep him in our hearts forever.
I cared about him before he was cool.
Okay, Mr. Hipster.
Well, before he was mainstream.
I never cared about him, so I guess I'm not a hipster.
How dare you?
I guess Kirby was Ellie all along. Okay.
More like smelly.
More like Schmerby. Anyway, let's read Schmertro's crit now. Why am I reading it? I actually analyze this. Let's just skip to his thinking move up. He is a unit that is a rate up switch. His whole thing is having stackable glint along with concentration every single time he moves. So like that means this first half of his kit of just having rate up, it just means like the rest of his kit becomes more effective or less effective depending on if you decide to move or not. As a result, 2 of his rolls become stronger. His ability to spam weakness and his ability to spam evasion. And his weakness is every single turn start as is his evasions. The thing about the timing of that is because it's turn start and concentration and glint is on moving, that means that you'll only at most get a maximum of 20% from your own ability to rate up them. The other abilities of copying 2 buffs as well as when you receive damage, activate tenacity. Those ones can get up to 30%. But yeah, otherwise, you'll probably just want to actually play around the ones that are only up to 20% because those are his strongest ones. Weakness spamming. I know that Zalkus was kind of gushing about weakness before, even though it's pretty much like any other buff. I don't really get it, but if that's your thing, then if it's your thing, then yeah, it'll work.
I think it's pretty good that we finally have a good range of weakness without moving or anything.
Yeah, one of the main...
Yeah, it just gives more flexibility. Now if only it wasn't on 4 stars.
Yeah, the main thing about why I was reluctant about debuffs compared to buffs is like, you can buff all your allies easily, but when you debuff someone, it's usually just like 1 or 2 units only. So the larger the range, the more similar they can actually make it to the effectiveness of buffs.
But if you debuff that enemy unit, it's like your entire team is buffed.
Yeah, but
against that
unit. There's some technical details of why that's not exactly the perfect parallel. But yeah, whatever. Weakness, if it's a larger spread, then yeah, it'd be more useful. And I would actually say because of that weakness ability, he's like the most reliable weakness inflictor now in terms of just the range in combination with it's his reliable rate. If you do decide to see him, it's even 100%. Pair him up with 4-star Eta. Very crazy thing to say, but if you remember, his most recent skill evolution gave him 3 times advantage against weakness. So it was just hard to activate because you needed someone behind the person he hit to actually inflict weakness on that target. But with this, he could just give everyone weakness and he'll have advantages against all those units. So this could be the case where Eta is the meta.
Did you mention that for Tez?
I did not, mostly because he was kind of like the range is kind of far away. They'd have to be spaced apart weirdly, but it would work for Tez as well.
Well, Tez is a snipe, so he can just sit at the back and he'll hit the front rows.
Yeah, well, Eta, it's like it'd be like
base.
kind of a spread out formation. Whereas with this one, you'd also be protecting Eta with evasion, presumably, if you manage to activate that.
Eta has that storm skill. It's fine. He'll have 1 turn of evasion.
I think that's
nice.
just his 5-star, isn't it? Sorry, yours.
Yes, I think.
It's nice that Mecha Man has turned for 2020.
Irby,
I don't.
closer to the mic, please. When the stream is over, please check out the playback to see how bad your volume attenuation gets.
Oh!
All right.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better. Just keep it consistent like that, and we shouldn't have a problem.
Okay. I think it's pretty interesting how LifeWonders decided to bring back Mecha Man again. They seem to really like this ability for some reason.
I think it's just because it's thematic, because something about he's a robot.
I think it's thematic, but I think it's also very lazy.
I kind of like it. I mean, I know it's like some people hate these common things, but you know, it's what's it called? It adds potential for more skill evolutions down the line, and also what's it called? It's like it's nice as a stabilizing factor to kind of like, I guess, give a common baseline of what is a standard skill. So yeah.
Arrow, we will never get a universal skill evolutions again.
No.
Mecha Man will not get a skill evolution everyone can use.
That's fine. Now we only have skill-specific evolutions. So Mecha Man is actually the only skill in his entire kit that will never receive a skill evolution.
Oh, it's good. Just whatever. Fine. It can happen. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe for the
but it will be
the fashion
personal anyway.
I guess. Anyways, yeah, his range is for target weakness is quite large. It's the pyramid range from Licho, as you can see. It's just magic plus the long slash range. And on move, he copies 2 buffs within thrust range. Copy, not steal. So I don't fully understand why it's only copy, because they usually make it always steal. It's kind of whatever. That can be conditionally useful, just the same amount as steal buff is, except for of course the remove buff part. And the evasion spamming, it's not that great of a rate. It's only up to 40%. But if you, I guess you could add a glint on top of that, because the original glint should not actually interfere with the stackable glints that are unique to his kit. But I don't know. You're probably better off. Evasion spamming was another unit. It could be good though. Who knows? Repositioning, it's also something to consider, because that's phase 1 is always a problem. Phase 1 turn 1. Yeah, and because of his what's called somewhat defensiveness with tenacity and evasion, but it's not always consistent. He could pair well with some extra healers, as well as some supporters that reduce damage, incoming damage, and yeah, for the same reason he'd be good for ARs that heal him, such as the Gunzo AR or the Anniversary AR.
I've never seen you use the Anniversary AR as a suggestion.
Well, it's because it's just like you heal, and at the same time, it's not exactly like a very specific suggestion. It
can be pretty good in any unit, to be honest.
Yeah, it
gets a lot of attack.
Fat attack stat, as well as it has a strong heal. It's like almost Ryota level or something. It's like what, 1500 maybe. But it's a good heal.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
But
it's 1500, yes.
Yeah, the heal is nothing to scoff at, so it could be good with that. And of course, I always recommend healers and damage attenuators when it's like they play more defensively to like kind of amplify the effect of healing. So I guess this is a case where he has some of the defensive stuff, but not enough healing to complement it. And also, it would cancel out that whole. For some reason, he has HP reduction, which I don't really get why. Every time
because he's a robot. I think that's lore again.
It's lore. He's traveling through time and he's losing times of his life.
Why do we have so much like random ass lore effects here? Fucking Ellie with her nourishment reduction, and fucking Shiva and charm weakening, and now Bertro with like.
I think only Marduk doesn't have lore, stuff.
His kit is completely divorced from lore.
Oh, Warmonger. There you go.
There is no lore.
Advantage against Warmonger. No kids. That's probably lore related.
He's the head of the Warmongers, I think. I think that's what the thing said.
Shit.
The bio said.
Oh, I figured he was just like an opposite team, but that's weird that he's good against his own team.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Weird edgelord. Anyways, any remaining thoughts? Anything I missed that you guys thought of?
Talk about his amazing CS.
I explicitly didn't mention it because none of his kit is designed around it, and his CS itself doesn't actually do anything remarkable. So, yeah. Some units are designed around their CS, like Shiva, and some units, they just give them the CS because every unit has to have a CS, but it doesn't even matter on them, just like Marduk. Not Marduk, Bertro. I keep on mixing the two, but yeah.
I guess you could pair him with Shiva for 10% skill boost, and then Shiva removes everything and completely defeats
Why?
the purpose.
Why?
They both have to move, so if you move Bertro, then he gains his thing, but then Shiva will CS and wipe it. But if you move Shiva, then Bertro gains nothing.
That's
So, real synergy right there.
very big thing.
Synergy we were all for.
But I think Bertro's kind of lame. He does evasion spam, but he doesn't do it that well. He does.
His gimmick of
I
rate up
think-
is
honestly,
interesting, but just the rest of his roles do not actually make an interesting thing to rate up itself.
Yeah, his buff copy is a copy and not a steal for some reason. And I think his most useful trait is really his weakness pyramid. It's like,
The weakness pyramid is the only thing.
Yeah.
Gotta love how pyramids are becoming more relevant. The Illuminati is here, guys. LifeWonders has taken over.
Yes, it is. It is. I
do
find
you have that song?
what?
Do you have the Illuminati song on hand?
What? You mean the
Yeah.
X-Files one? What? No, I don't.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I do not. But yeah, that is all I have to cover, so I'll just read out the comments. And I'm assuming you guys have nothing else to add on top of that. I mean, we pretty much covered everything.
Nah,
He's like,
but Bertro poop.
let's see. Finally, my new son. Oh, you mean Bertro. Why do I keep on mixing them? Their names are not even remotely similar. It's unfortunate that he likes Shiva. 10% skill activation only for Shiva to wipe away. Yeah, pretty. This was right at the beginning of the conversation, so Wendy, yeah, you picked up on that right away. Good on you.
Yeah.
Bertro can have potential with Jamboree Shiro, who gives him one extra glint, and also the fact that he deals weakness every turn, like Tezcat, but more reliable. But to be a guildmaster could be better. The extra glint definitely synergistic. I mean, if you were actually trying to make it use of his like rate up, I guess. But you know, like I said, the effects here rating up isn't even that great. Like if it plus 20% to 40% evasion is not that amazing. Bringing that to 50% makes it a bit better, but you know, like you could like probably use Shenong instead for the first few turns, and that'd be fine. Or Kotaro, or I don't know, like somehow make a CS jamming team with like either Triton or Dagon. They could also provide evasion that way. What's all? And he deals weakness every turn. That would not be synergistic because that would just be overlapping and wasting, but whatever. No lore, only 4. Wow, that was quite poetic. Props to you, Wendy. Props to you. Sorry, you're saying something, Ruby?
I said very deep.
Very deep, just the way I like it. Okay. Marduk has nourishment. That's lore. Does he have nourishment? Why is he looking at Bertro's? Yeah, I know Marduk has nourishment, but I looked at Bertro's. God damn it. Anyway, yeah, it's nourishment is kind of a meme.
Sure.
It exists.
I mean, everyone has nourishment. Can that even be considered lore, anyways?
It's like
I don't know. I don't know.
When Vestal, haha, yeah, that was quite funny. We are a very funny bunch. Shiva 3-star meta, okay.
No, he was laughing. He was laughing about the Shiva synergy. Because he said that when because he laughed when I pointed it out.
Oh, right. Shiva 3-star meta. I guess you could use. That is true. You could use 3-star to avoid the whole hassle of that. If you could avoid magic range, anyways. Actually, yeah, he won't even remove all buffs, even if he does charge. So, hey, there you go, Zalius.
Yeah, he only removes buffs and debuffs to the enemies he hits with his 3-star. I'm not using Bertro 3 and Shiva 3. That's terrible.
What does Bertro 3 even do that's different? It's like even lower evasion rate. That is abysmal. 10%.
He loses the concentration, so there's no point. I mean, I guess if I use Bertro 4, but then
you can do it. Use Bertro 4.
He snipe. Look at the potential.
It's neat that that's something you didn't mention. He's like
he has to be frontline.
It's unique that there are 3 stars that are sniped now. These are the first 3-star snipe units between Marduk and Bertro. But at least Marduk's kit made sense to snipe. Nothing about his kit complements snipe range at all. What is this? Why does he have snipe range? It doesn't add anything here. It just makes him weaker, and none of his effects play around that range. It's a big mystery.
Because he's a robot. He's a robot. He has guns.
Shouldn't guns be like actually lethal? I hate it when like fucking games decide to make, oh, because it's long range, you have to bounce and make it weaker, even though like in real life guns are the most powerful weapon and swords are the weakest. It doesn't make sense.
Well, if you probably have a better chance of surviving a stray bullet than a sword because of the amount of blood loss, but that's semantics.
Yes, very semantic. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. I'll just continue reading. Murder Kit is disappointing. Yeah, I don't know. Is he murder? I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, you look at his face, he kind of looks insane or murderous, but...
In the very least, I can say that I'm glad they're continuing the trend of making existing buffs stackable. Stackable attack up win. Skill seats.
We already have that. We have the AR.
Not slight attack. You know what I mean. I'm not surprised that guild name Warmonger is using children to fight anymore. Yeah, I'm not surprised too. Very charming of them. Anyways,
good to know LifeWonders.
Sorry, go ahead. Good to know LifeWonders.
Good to know LifeWonders is finally adding shit world units.
No.
Bertro's well, then he's really kind of trash.
It's like he does okay damage. Like, what was the damage again? It was like 12k or something. Yeah. So there's that. I guess. Maybe not consider using Bertro. I'm not sure. I can't even really think of a specific situation where he'd be the best unit for whatever case. And let's see. Hey there, what has been talked about so far? Literally, Hidden, why do you always come when these things end? There's we're pretty much. I'm just reading the comments of the last unit, so that is everything. We may need a unit, Ellie, that gives prayer. Goddamn it! Yeah, I can't. They kind of forgot about that buff eventually after they gave it to Zbanya. But yeah,
I mean, prayer's pretty strong, so
we need more prayer. We need prayer in our lives, as they say. Y'all need Jesus. Yeah, sorry, Hidden.
I think that comment got a cold. I can't see it.
Yeah, I had to put on. I had to change the chat to see the comment.
Yeah, I noticed it too, but I don't. There's nothing even bad about it. I guess, goddammit, was too, it frazzled the sentimentabilities of. You too much sentimentabilities. That's not even a word.
Yeah. It's the goddamn part.
Shit cough as a sauce cough. Hey, I mean, if you decide to max
as a thought all range when it was cool.
Yeah. Anyways, let's not prolong this. We're already past the hour mark somehow. So thank you for joining us today, especially Hidden, who decided to join just to say hi, apparently. Gonna do a short recap at the end. You know what? We've never recapped units before, but since it's so short, we could recap it briefly. So in one sentence, we'll give our summary of each unit. Ellie is a zone advancer who can zombify the unit she strikes on charge, and she can also rescale damage. can you summarize Shiva for us, Irby, in one sentence? Irby.
What?
Irby, can you summarize Shiva for us in one sentence?
Big damage, unga bunga, purge everything, CS.
Okay, I can't even argue against that. One sentence, Marduk. Good.
I mean, it's true. Snipe range disruptor who slaps a bunch of debuffs on the column he's in, but also the column to his left and right, and can also push, and has the first use for when leaving skill.
There's a few other ones, but yeah. And lastly, Bertro does nothing at all. He does evasion sometimes, and he can move sometimes. He's really good at weakness infliction, and other than that, pyramid data, but he might not have a use outside of that. There you go. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Watch the stream.
Yeah, you can rewatch the stream if you missed it and only saw the last few seconds, like some people in chat right now. Oh my god, loser. Anyways, we're prolonging this. Thank you for joining us. You can find Irby's channel in the description as well as Alex's. Why don't we give our thoughts on what's called the coming content, and then we can close it off for there. So, any thoughts for this coming
content?
I know, Christmas and anniversary. Any thoughts, Irby, since you're in contact with some people that are in the know?
What? No, I don't have anything to say about it.
What? No. Okay, fine.
Keep your secrets.
There's actually no secrets this time.
God damn it.
Pensive.
We don't know anything.
No, we don't.
Oh well.
So, I mean, we do know some things about anniversary, and I think a lot of people are having the wrong idea about who is going to be hosting the anniversary, but we'll see how it goes.
I see. Well, I guess don't tell me too much because I kind of want to be surprised too. I don't want to be spoiled for that. You know how I am with spoilers. Okay, thanks for joining us, everyone. We are just gonna go head out now and stop prolonging this goddamn thing. All right, on 3, everyone. The thing in 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.